Bricks and Minifigs is your one-stop shop for all things LEGO. Hit the link below to find a store near you. Hey everyone, Joshua Hanlon here out at Bricks Cascade in Portland, Oregon, and today we've got a Star Wars Battlefront build for you. Got a couple of talented builders that collaborated on this project, so if you want to introduce yourself and then give us an overview of what this is.
Yeah, my name is Caleb. Me and Emmet have been working on this mock for just about a year, ever since we came here last year. We really wanted to create something that's never been built before, and so that made making this really hard because there was no reference of the whole map that we could really find. So we have 9 modular sections here on the big gray base plate, so this splits into 9 sections. And we just kind of started from this end and worked our way back. We treated each mountain as a separate project, and then we really wanted to make every single thing here our own. So even the Imperial Shuttle, which is an official set, we scaled it down for this mock, so everything here is completely unique for this build.
I love that, really going fully custom and just really, making the scene as detailed as possible. So this is based on the map from Battlefront then?
Yeah, this is a survival map called Raider Camp. Here, you get in there.
Yeah. So for all of our reference, we actually had to go into the game and then record with our phones onto the screen as we go around. Well, it's what you got to do.
Some dedication and work, there you go.
Yeah, it's like the old days where you have to record right off the radio. But yeah, so we knew we wanted to angle this because it's roughly a round map, but we wanted to work with the 9 base plates and we wanted to use up as much space. So it's a little stretched in a few places if you look for super game accurateness, but we took some artistic liberties just.
Yeah, I had to make it work kind of within the footprint here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So take us through some of the details then. I know you said kind of you approached each mountain and area as sort of unique. So if you can maybe start in like this corner right here and just take us through some of the details of what we have going on.
For sure. Actually, real quick, do you want me to turn on the lights?
Sure. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Lights are always amazing. You got the carefully hidden light plate here.
Uh-huh. You got to fit it right in there.
There you go. Perfect. Even better.
Got to fix that little bit. Always working on the greebling. All right, so yeah, we wanted to work from right where you get placed into the map is the front corner. And we were working on hut placement. Caleb here did a great job finding a good scale and size for the huts. And then the best part about the huts is how fragile they are. So you can pretty much just like poke it and it'll explode. So we might as well add some fire to that and some lights and make it look like it got blown up by the ATST or something, you know?
So did you just kind of set the huts on there then, basically? It's not like tied into the base?
Well, no, they are there. Oh, yeah, attached. Yeah, they are placed down by studs. All this is all stud attachments. We want to make this as strong and stable as possible, especially while moving it. And so we had to work on mountains a few times. This one close to the left we did about 3 times until we've got a nice, stable inside structure. So that was all great. And then we kind of just worked one layer, put a few plates down in the center, and then started filler brick on the inside, doing levels, filler brick level, so that we can give some dimension to the topography. What else?
We got all sorts of great details going on in the back corner there as well.
Oh yes, absolutely. You gotta keep working. He did a great job with the ground leveling because we went to a pick-up brick wall with all the 1x1 plates in light nougat, and I wanted to place them around, but it kind of made it look like frosting on a cake. But he made it look great into the dirt.
We had a few drafts of this we had to go through. I will mention the only thing on here that isn't our own design is the ATST from Rebrickable. But the drop pod, the hearts, all the builds we came up with on our own. But we're grateful for the builder. It's a great model. And then I think our biggest challenge that we had to keep revisiting on was we really wanted the color scheme to flow. We had a palette of like 10 colors we really wanted to work with, but the hard part was making it flow naturally. And so, especially some of these mountains, we had at least 2 or 3 revisions in order to get exactly the flow we wanted, but we're really happy with how it turned out.
Oh, absolutely.
No, that kind of stuff definitely takes kind of a lot of experimentation when you're dealing with texturing and kind of the geography, obviously, making it look lifelike is an extremely difficult thing. So you guys really blended a lot of colors nicely here. I like how you did that. What types of pieces did you find worked well for kind of making the mountains and getting that landscaping looking good?
So our running joke is we've bought, I believe, like 800 of this single 2x3x3 tan slope piece, and that makes up most of the mountains. It's relatively cheap to get a hold of, and it's such a big piece we can build up relatively quickly. But we really tried to move away from just slanting up, right up, just to add more detail. So we used quite a bit of, what do you call it, like wing pieces, a lot of 90-degree pieces, and then, just an incredible amount of this 1x1 nougat piece here. We found it at Pick a Brick, and we couldn't resist, so we tried to throw in as much as we could as a accent color. Those are the main ones, though. Yeah, we try to use quite a bit.
And I know you turned the lights on earlier for us, so talk about how you incorporated the lights throughout the build and where you tried to put those, what detail that added.
Well, the lights were actually sort of we wanted them there all along, but we didn't really plan it to be there all along. We pretty much built the entire mock, and then with about a month or two to spare, we're like, all right, now let's work on the lights. And we're like, okay, well, that's kind of hard because we got to work into what we've just built into. But we didn't have a plan to begin with, so it was going to be hard either way. But Caleb here, buddy, saved me from the hefty price of all of the Light My Bricks stuff. But he'll get to use those over in mocks on his own, and I may borrow them from time to time. But yeah, so we were able to make the hub in the center where the scout trooper is.
Do you want me to grab that plate off?
Or here, I can.
You got it?
Yeah. Does it?
Trying to figure out exactly where everything is hidden under there.
Yeah. It's a big plate. I don't think there's not a great pressure point. I tried to work on one corner with the pressure point so we can pop it all out.
And then I messed it up putting in detail. That's my bad.
It's all good. But it looks great. But yeah. The whole plate that's shifting, if we dare. And there we go.
Okay.
So we got battery, which is down in here, linking to the multi-ended section thing that splits up all the wires into one that goes over here roughly, one that goes over here, and one that goes to the front. And from there, we can work with just the straight light that goes into the ATST and the shuttle, and then an adapter or a modifier brick thing that lets us do the flickering for the lights.
Yeah, we got the effects boards are how we get the flickers. So we have, there's 3 outputs for each effects board, so we have a few of them hidden without. And yeah, the flicker adds a lot. I think the lights are less noticeable when they're not flickering. And for a mock that's relatively not lit in the game at all, the torches were really the only thing, and then the light in the shuttle and the light from the ATST, not accurate to the game, but we thought it would add kind of a lot just to have more than just torch light in this build.
Lights always add a nice level of detail and kind of make things stand out. So we haven't really touched yet on the largest mountain you guys built back there. How did that one come together?
All right. So that was basically my pride and joy and child that I had to work on for a good part of 6 months, is my guess. I worked from the inside with a huge diameter at the time, which is the second mountain we built. And I was just placing down slopes, trying to angle it so that it pretty much all went up from every direction, with it looking relatively rock-like. And I love some of these later mountains with all the detail, but with this one, it's huge, so it needed to be strong and needed rock-solid connections. But yeah, just working up, leveling it down, putting filler brick structures on the inside, then plating it, then more filler brick, then plating it, then filler brick and plating it, and eventually the diameter gets smaller as you go to the top. But that was a major, basically a solid mountain right there. No hollowness. It's just like heavy and solid.
Actually, when I was getting it ready the morning before the show, I accidentally totally walked straight into it and ended up hurting my leg more than that. So I can confirm it is very strong piece of work right there.
What are some of the details around that kind of in the back corner on the right side?
Yeah, so when we got to the end, we just had the landscape left to do, and we just tried to... The fun part, exactly. So we had a combination of the more tan elements, then we wanted to add some gray for pops of color, and then Emmet really worked on a lot of just like greebling that we can just throw on the ground as junk piles and heaps of stuff, and then my last ditch effort to add something cool, I had my mom help me sew some of this cloth onto these ropes and then kind of hang them throughout just to complete the kind of rundown look that we were going for here. So we utilized as many different methods as we could to really make this stand out.
I love the kind of 3D effect that you've created in this build. So you've got kind of the lowest paths they go throughout, then the kind of medium and the tallest mountain there, and then you've even got kind of the paths that go between the different mountain sections here as well. So there's so much kind of action going on.
And then we got a cave that goes down in there and a bunch of other, and we had to dig out where the escape pod?
Escape pod, yeah.
Launch pod, drop pod, where it had to land so that it would crater in while also still being a solid drop pod. And also, it's funny, I want to get back on the greebling real quick. Greebling is an absolutely fun thing to do, but for me, I always just end up building robots. So I just end up building, oh, this is a cool looking droid. Now I have to take its arms and legs off and make it rusted and look like all this stuff. I built a carburetor engine. The important part is knowing when to stop, and that I still don't know.
If you greeble long enough, it just turns into a robot eventually, always.
Yeah. No matter what you do. And then we have a picture here. We actually built an Easter egg into the back. Do you want to talk about that? That's you.
Okay, yeah. So from the scene in Robot Chicken where Darth Vader throws Palpatine into the electric tunnel, the name eludes me, forgive me. He's like, oh, what have I done with my life? And so he calls Jar Jar Binks and he's like, hello, I'm sorry for manipulating you all these years. And he says, oh, yes. You shall manipulate me. And then he turns back into Darth Binks, which is just our little nod that Jar Jar Binks was behind it all along. He was the main Sith.
There you go. So that's in the back of the mountain over there?
That's in the back of the mountain, just this
it's kind of hard to see,
big cliff.
No, I love that. So as you guys were collaborating on this, were you both building in the same physical space, or would you kind of build separately and then come together?
Yeah, so this all started on my bed, and we had all these base plates on my bed, and then we have to move them to the floor. So for the past year, it's kind of been a jump skip from the front of my room to my bed because this has been all over the floor. But the fact that it can split into 9 really helps. And we moved from it being under my bed, and then as the mountains were growing up, we had to put them out. So the last month and a half, it's been a little hard to move around, but we were able to get it here relatively in one piece, so we're grateful for that.
You've got to be resourceful with the space available to you.
Absolutely, yeah. Can't justify buying an entire house for this thing. Not yet.
Do you have any idea the total piece count on the build?
I gotta think, what are we in, upper tens? Closer to 20,000?
Yeah, upper tens. It's hard. If we looked at all the Bricklink orders, that would still be quite a large number, but not at all because we included so much of our own collection into it to begin with. So
17, 18, probably, yeah.
No, it's very impressive here. Any plans for the future in terms of other Battlefront maps or kind of expanding on this idea?
I've definitely thought about it. I think there's a big area to tap into where there's not a lot of Lego Battlefront content online as far as I can find. And I think relatively there's a lot of source material from the game. So I think building stuff like this in the future is really doable, and it would really stand out because it just hasn't been done yet. So our plans for the future are bright, I think. Yeah.
What has the public reaction been like so far with the build? Do you have people kind of familiar with the game that are coming up and recognizing it, or just like, hey, look at that cool Star Wars thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So it was actually interesting. The first day, the first setup day, Thursday, people would look at this and they said it was either Jakku or one other planet.
The one from Rebels, Lethal. Yeah.
And we're like, no, it's a level from Star Wars Battlefront. And as soon as we say Battlefront, everyone's like, oh, Battlefront. Yes, I gotcha. I know that.
Sweet.
So that's why I created a stand at the front to just hold the game, because that little bit of Battlefront, everyone remembers this level. So.
Just got to jog their memory a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The kids really like it. The battle elements, all the minifigures, they really like it. And then a lot of the teenage and adult fans recognize the gameplay. So it's been really fun to see the reactions. And by far the most recognized part are the mini kits that we have here and here, just because not from Battlefront, but it's iconic, and pretty much every LEGO fan, no matter what part of LEGO you like, has seen a mini kit before. So it was a good Easter egg to add.
Now with the minifigs, are there any custom elements in here, or is this all official LEGO?
Yeah, so everything here just came out of my collection. The weapons are all custom from various sites and sellers. And then the pauldrons for the Stormtroopers are all Klerner customs. And then the backpacks I just brick built. So everything here is official LEGO or custom. And yeah, it was really fun putting it all together.
Well, great work, guys. Thank you so much for taking us through the different parts of the build here. And thanks for all your work in putting this together and bringing it out to Bricks Cascade.
Well, thank you for hosting.
Thanks for the interview. Appreciate it.